Hey friends, Coach Angie here, and we are ready to kick off season 2 of the Dynamic Pause podcast with Coach Angie. And I'm so excited. This is March, and March is Women's History Month. And so I'm going to approach this month a little differently than I typically do, but also along the same lines because you guys know I already have amazing women on the podcast. It's a regular occurrence, but I'm launching season 2 with 2 guests that I spent time with in the last few months, and I wanted them to be our highlight for Women's History Month. Now, again, y'all know if you've been with me for any amount of time, highlighting all leaders is what I'm down for. But I love spending time with women leaders. It's a sweet spot. It hits home. I hope it's been hitting the same way for you. So here we go. Season 2, Women's History Month focus. I hope you guys enjoy both the episodes this month.
Take a pause in the moment, breathe deep, let the soul lift. The podcast is to grow with, the clarity is potent. Take a pause in the moment, breathe deep, let the soul lift. The podcast is to grow with, the clarity is potent. Take a pause in the moment, breathe deep, let the soul lift. The podcast is to grow with, the clarity is potent.
Welcome to another episode of the Dynamic Pause with Coach Angie. We have an amazing guest with us today, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet Erica, get to know her a little bit. Thank you for coming down from C-Town and sit with us today here in the studio. So welcome.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yes, and you guys, you're gonna learn so much more about her. Some I'm about to read to you because I love to do that, but I want to share something with you before we get into even that. So
Lord.
if you know me, okay, y'all know I'll be running around doing all kinds of things, okay? But what was really cool today is before we started airing, Erica was like, "Can we just take some time to do some breaths together?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" On the inside, but then was like, yes, we can. I mean, we have these pause signs behind us, but that's my whole gig. But the teacher is sometimes the best student for the thing that they feel the most passion for. And I am that. So I am so grateful for you pausing to get those breaths before we got started.
You are so welcome.
It is so cool. I love it.
It was beautiful to share that space with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm so grateful for that. So Erica's here. We're about to read about her and then hopefully get her to tell us a little bit more. And then we're going to get into an awesome conversation today.
Okay.
All right. So guys, Erica Cherry is a licensed mental health therapist and self-leadership guide whose work sits at the intersection of identity, narrative disruption, and change management. She focuses on what happens after achievement when a capable, accomplished woman begins questioning whether the identity that helped her succeed still aligns with the future she wants to create. We're going to sit with that for a second, okay? Known for her grounded, direct approach, Erica helps women, especially Black women and women of color, examine the internal narratives shaping their thoughts, emotions, and decisions. She believes that when a woman understands and intentionally rewrites her narrative, she doesn't just experience personal growth, she reshapes the culture of the rooms she influences and the communities connected to them. We go deep, y'all. Erica is also the creator and host of She Sheds, a podcast dedicated to the candid conversations about midlife transitions, identity shifts, and what it means to answer the question, who am I now? Come on now. I mean, y'all, listen. I get the honor of sitting in the rooms or being on the Zoom with amazing leaders, and I use that word a lot, but it's true, and
Mhm.
I just feel so excited that you guys get to spend some time with her because we're spending time together. And I met you, what was it, last October-ish,
No,
somewhere,
was it? No, it
August?
was July? Was it
Was
Ju
it? Is that when it was? I don't know. We
It
met
was over the
last
it
year,
was
y'all.
over the summer.
Was it
What?
summertime?
I be lying.
I think it was fall.
Was it
It was
fall?
early fall though, where the weather was still
It was kinda cooler
it was
outside.
cooler, but it wasn't cold.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yes, so it was transitioning.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, for sure, but we met at an event together that we were at, empowering women because
Mhm.
that's what we love to
That's what
do,
we
and yeah, I knew instantly. I was like she was talking and I was like, "Ah, kinship, I hear you. I hear you know?" And so, although I hadn't started the podcast yet, I
Mhm.
knew it was in the works, and I don't even know, I might have started episode recording.
You
I think I
mentioned
was
it.
recording episodes, but I hadn't launched it
Yeah,
yet.
you did mention the podcast, so I do remember that being a passion project of
Oh,
yours.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's been in the making for some years,
Mm,
but it was more talk for a while
okay,
of moments where I'm saying it out loud on purpose.
okay.
Because if I keep saying it out loud on purpose, then I'm
Somebody's gonna hear you and hold you accountable to your words.
girl, it's
Come on.
gotta be me. Because I listen,
Be careful of the
I
words you
don't
say.
like running into a lot of people who do say a lot of stuff and then they don't do it,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
people be lying. Y'all just be out there lying. I don't like that, so I try to hold myself to that same
Mhm.
standard. So I knew if I started saying it out loud, I would hold myself accountable to follow
Yeah,
through with it. I'm just
yeah,
being kind to myself along the journey,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, so
Speaking reality into existence.
okay, so Erica, take us back to the beginning. What was the defining moment or season in your life that set you on the path toward mental health, self leadership, and ultimately guiding other women through identity transformation?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a question that has several different entry points, right? There's the
Okay.
mental health path, and I
Mm,
think if you ask anybody who's in this field, if they're honest with you, they will tell you that they entered this field either accidentally or because they were trying to figure themselves out. And for me, it
yes.
was a combination of both. It was like, you take that first psychology 101 class and
Hmm.
things start clicking, things start
Yes.
really making sense for you. And then you take the next class and the next class and the next class, and before you know it, you got a whole degree.
You got to agree.
You
Wow.
got a whole degree,
Wow. Okay.
And so that's kinda how I entered into the mental health field, but I think the phrase "defining moment" for
Yeah.
me was, was probably when I moved to Washington.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not originally from Washington, I'm from
Okay.
Little Rock, Arkansas, so I'm a Southern born and raised
Oh,
girl,
I love it. Yeah.
when I moved here, I was over 40 and I had 2 teenage boys that came with me, and I had this idea that I'm gonna move to Washington, I'm gonna get them out of the South, and we're gonna
Okay.
show them a different way of life because I wanted to do that. I felt
Sure.
like I was watching Black men all over the world, but especially in the South, and the ones that were in my life could had the tendency to be kinda complacent.
Sure.
And I didn't want that for my sons, and so
Okay.
I thought, if I don't move them right now, while I have a tiny measure of control,
Yeah.
then they're never going to leave. They're never gonna be able to see themselves outside of
Outside
this
of that.
container of
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
So I wanted to move them. And so that's what I did. I'm like, "We're going for this better life. We're gonna do this thing, girl."
That's scary.
Girl, that was real cute too. That was real cute that I thought we just gonna
Oh,
up and move and
man.
everything was gonna be better.
Yeah.
No, it
Okay.
wasn't. I came here, and it was a culture shock.
Okay.
It was a big culture shock.
Yeah.
One, I didn't see Black women. My husband, was trying to get me in spaces where there were Black people,
Sure.
and y'all were hard to find.
Well,
Y'all were hard to find. I
well,
wanna say it was probably 2 years in before I was
yeah.
in a whole room full of Black people, you
Wow.
know
Yeah.
and aside from that, though, there were just a lot of, um, experiences that we encountered, that I
Mhm.
encountered, that challenged my identity, that challenged what I believe to be true.
Wow.
And those things were true, and they could have been true had I remained in the container of Arkansas,
Sure.
but
Sure.
moving to Washington, I came face to face with, "Wow, who am I in this space?"
Right.
No one
Yes.
knows me in this space. I don't have church to hide behind.
Mhm.
I don't have my
Mhm.
friendships to hide behind. I don't have community to take cues from to
Yeah.
tell me who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do. I'm out here.
You like, what's supposed to be
What's
happening, right?
supposed to be happening right now? How am I supposed to parent these kids when I'm struggling to find my footing?
Yeah.
You know? So that was a really hard space for me to be in. And in that midst of time, my youngest son, who was 14 at the time, 6 months into our move here, he decided, I don't like this. I
Oh,
wanna go back to Arkansas.
wow.
Yeah, so that was July of 2014 was when we moved here.
Wow.
That December, he
He's
got
like,
on a plane to go home for Christmas, and I knew he wasn't coming back,
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't coming back,
He's
and
like,
I tried, girl, let me tell you, when
yeah,
I tell
I
you
know.
I tried to black mama him
Oh,
into staying. That did not work.
nope, his mind was already made up.
Oh,
He
that
said
did
no.
not work,
Wow.
and I laugh about it now because he's an adult, he's about to
Sure.
be 26 now,
Oh,
and,
wow.
we've all grown and we've always had these conversations. I laugh about it now, but then,
Oh,
when I tell
it was
you
not funny.
no, girl, when I tell you a whole soul was ripped out of me, not a piece of my
Yeah.
soul, a
Yes.
whole soul
Mm-mm.
was ripped
Mm-mm.
out of me, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and I think that was the red thread kinda that started my decline, that
Okay.
started my decline because he left and being in Washington, my middle son at the time, he was 16.
Oh,
Washington is a really liberal place. It's
mhm.
not Arkansas.
Yeah.
And in Arkansas, we had the village, it takes a
Sure.
village. I had a village in every corner.
Yes.
No, there was nowhere that my sons were gonna go that
Right.
somebody wasn't calling me or telling
Telling
me
you
or
what's up. Yeah.
what's up or checking in on them or I didn't
Yeah.
have a back, some support somewhere. I
Mhm.
didn't have that here.
Wow.
And so he found that he loved it here and found himself in all kinds of relationships with,
Okay.
with friends and
Sure. Just
with
different.
all the liberties that Washington could offer, all the liberties.
Okay.
Imma leave that up to your
Yeah.
imagination.
Yes, yes.
All the liberties of this
Wow.
liberal place,
Yeah.
and it was hard for me because he was morphing into somebody that I didn't
You didn't
know,
recognize.
and
Yeah.
I was morphing into somebody he didn't recognize. So we
Yes.
were clashing, and my husband, poor thing, I came here with
Like
these
what?
he was like, "Wait, y'all what in the world is happening?" And he was going
Exactly.
through his own, transformation with
Yeah.
this move. He had, been a single person.
Yes. And I was gonna say this is the
Yeah,
coming together of families.
a
Yeah.
coming together and a breaking apart.
Yeah.
Girl,
Oh.
it was a whole breaking apart,
Whew.
and it was hard. And so one of the things that kept me sane
Okay.
was I threw myself into work. That was where I knew who I was. I knew my identity.
Mm.
I knew I was a clinician. I knew I was a therapist, and I was working at the time at the psychiatric hospital in Kirkland. Now, I need you to I'm gonna slow this down for the people in the back because you need to understand what I'm saying here, okay? So I was falling apart. I did not know who I was, and
Mm.
all of my normal external cues that could inform who I was, church, community,
Yeah. Oh,
family,
yeah.
friends, they were not here.
No.
I was my one son had moved
Moved
away. My
away.
other
Yeah.
son had all these new,
Yeah.
like,
You don't just pick up
friends.
and
You
just go on with normal life
you
when
don't
that something
let's
like that
slow that one
happens.
down for the people in the back too. You
Yes.
don't just pick up
No.
and
Mm.
decide,
Yeah. You
you're
don't
gonna
just like the next day go, yeah, he's gone. And
Yeah,
then keep going.
no.
That's not how that
No,
works.
it was
Yeah.
hard. It was so
Yeah.
hard. I was walking outside of my body
Yeah.
for months.
Yeah.
I would if I'm honest, I would say
Years.
years,
Mhm.
walking outside of my body because I didn't the one identity that I could really count on was being a good mommy.
Mom, yes,
And
yes.
I didn't feel like I was that anymore.
Yeah,
Everything else, I was like, I got this, I got this. But this one, ain't nobody gonna out mommy me. I'm
yeah,
gonna be a good mommy,
right.
and that wasn't proving to be true here.
Mm,
So I threw myself into work
okay.
and my work was at a psychiatric hospital, and that's what
Wow.
kept me safe.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
The imagery behind that and how to carry that, that working somewhere where people are beyond what
Mhm,
we,
mhm,
could
mhm.
understand.
The
Um,
psychiatric hospital that I worked at was my safe place.
yes.
That was the place that kept me contained, that was the
Wow.
place where I knew my
You knew who you
identity,
were
I
there.
was getting the
Yeah,
accolades, everybody was like, "Hey," people loved me, I knew how to climb the ladder, I
sure.
was working oh my gosh, when I tell you I was working these astronomically long hours,
Hours. Ugh.
and nobody cared because I was helping them, I was
Yes.
doing the work,
Wow.
I was the go-to person. People could
Mhm.
ask me questions. I could
Mhm.
run that program or
Yeah.
ran this program.
Yep.
I could go out late and do this ER stuff.
Right.
I could do all the things, you
Because
know?
it was easier for you to be there than to be in that place where you had no
Yeah.
point of,
Yeah, I didn't have
reference.
grounding in my
Yeah.
identity. I'd lost myself completely. Yeah.
Wow, that's hard.
It was. It was really hard. And I this is was the period of time where it was so hard that I found myself one day standing at the edge of the water at Alki
Mhm.
Beach, where, like, the water and the waves meets up at the beach, and I was
Yes.
standing there, I was in it was the middle of the night. Now, I cannot
Wow.
swim.
You don't swim?
I cannot swim.
Girl,
It wasn't a requirement in Arkansas, it's a
that's true.
requirement up here. It wasn't required down there. You can't
That
come
is
live in the
hilarious.
Pacific Northwest and not
Know.
know how to
Right,
swim,
like, what you
but
mean?
I know how to swim. I did not know how to swim, but I was standing at the edge of this water in the middle of the night. I say it was the middle of the night.
It was nighttime.
It was
Yeah,
nighttime,
yeah.
but I was justifying reasons to end my life.
Just walk on out there.
Just walk on into the water.
Mm,
And again, hindsight is I know at the time that I didn't want to die. I
sure.
did not have a death wish. I just didn't know how to live well.
Mm,
I
that's
just
so
didn't
good.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I knew that, but I I don't know that I could have words for that then.
No,
Now I can say I was struggling to find my space and my identity and who am I?
not knowing how to live well
Yeah.
is when I hear you say that, I flash back to a moment where I was having, like, a similar thing,
Mm,
and it's not even that you can articulate that at that time. You can't
mm-mm,
even say,
mm,
I don't know how to live well." What you do know in that moment is that you don't want to feel or be where
mhm,
you are,
mhm.
wherever that is.
If I could if
This is
yeah.
not okay.
No, that this is not okay. I don't know what okay looks like, but this ain't it.
This is not it, and
I
I don't
yeah.
want this to continue,
Yeah,
like, whatever this
and
is.
even to name the part that wasn't okay, I was overwhelmed. I was always crying. I was
Oh,
sad.
yeah,
The only place, like I said, I didn't cry and I wasn't sad was at work because I knew how to put on the mask.
sure.
I knew
And then it
how
was
to
about
be
being about helping
what
those other people
it
too,
was
right?
well, it wasn't even about helping other people. Can I be
Yeah,
honest?
tell me.
It was about being the person that everybody else expected me to be.
Oh, because you were needed in that
I was needed
space,
in that
very much
space.
so,
Yes.
and you were confident
Yes.
in what they needed from you, that you
Yes.
could provide it,
Yes.
and you were getting your fill
That part.
there, which is why you wanted to be there so
That
much.
part. I was
But
needed
being
there.
at home or anywhere
I
else
wasn't needed.
was not, you weren't needed in even where you
Mm-mm.
would have been needed, you weren't positioned in a place where you felt like, okay, but I know that I'm
Mhm.
providing here.
Mhm.
That's a
Mhm.
different
Mhm.
space
Mhm.
to be needed, but no, but if I don't know
Mhm.
that I'm contributing this,
Mhm.
where's my
Mhm.
knowing in that?
Mhm.
Without that, you just out there
Yeah,
flailing and
and that's what
it
I was
yeah,
doing. I was flailing. It's like nobody needs me, and
yeah.
that was the conversation with me and myself and the water before me,
Sure,
standing there thinking, "Well, my son is already back in Arkansas. My middle son's gonna graduate soon. He's gonna go to the military, so he's
sure.
good. My oldest son was already in the military and
Doing
living in
his thing.
Alaska, married, it's like my husband, he was fine. He had his mom. She had come over to stay with us for a bit, and so I just thought they have each other.
They're
They
good.
don't
Yeah.
everybody's good. They don't need me.
Oh, man.
Nobody needs me right now. And let me tell you, the thing that pulled me away from that water was I had my phone with me,
Mm.
and my phone started buzzing, and it was an aunt It was an aunt who lived in Arkansas, and I had not talked to my auntie in several months because I
Wow.
think I had isolated from my family as
Okay.
well. She just sent me a simple text message and it said, "Hey, baby, just thinking about you. I
Okay.
love you."
Y'all,
Yeah. Shout out to the aunties. Hey, auntie.
those special moments,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
little kisses on the cheek.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah,
you.
I see you. So and it's so not outside of her character to think about me and to text me just randomly, whether she wakes up in the middle of the night. She's a lot like my grandmother in that sense where she
Yeah.
would
That
wake up if
intuition is
somebody
yeah.
yeah, if
Mhm.
somebody would if she thinks about somebody, she knows that that name, that person is placed in her spirit and she needs to act on that.
Yes.
And that is what she did in that moment.
That's
She
so
didn't
good.
know where I was.
So
You
good.
know?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She did not know where I was. She didn't know anything like that. And I
Mm.
think that was so when you ask about like the defining moment,
Yeah.
that was the defining moment.
Wow.
It was right there. And of course, I didn't know what was being defined in that
No,
moment.
not yet. Yes, exactly.
You know, I do remember, I actually don't remember driving home that day, but I do remember waking up the next morning and thinking that was such a crazy dream. Yeah,
Wow.
it's such a crazy dream, and then I look over and I see my sneakers and they have sand and dirt on them. I was
And
like,
you're like,
"Okay,
"Oh,
that was
I
not a
was there."
dream. I was there, and now I'm sitting in the bed and I'm crying and I'm bawling my
Yeah.
eyes out, and the big
Yeah.
question on my heart was, "How did I get here?"
To me, when I hear you say these things and tell that story, it just resonates with me, like, how important identity is. And it would seem like it's just a no-brainer, but it's not.
Mm-mm.
It's important how people see you
Mhm.
because you proved that at work, people saw you as who you were, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's important for how we believe ourselves to be
Mm.
and our capabilities from that belief.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna
Yeah.
have those moments in our life where stuff like that happens. We get shaken off
Yeah.
of the title or whatever that we've been carrying
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
as long as we can know. We be raising these kids and we're like,
Mm.
"Lord, please, can we still be friends when they grow up? Because I kinda like them a little bit."
Kinda like them
You
a
know what I
little
mean?
bit, yeah.
And so when you get through certain phases of their life, you realize, like, that might not be an option all the time.
Yeah.
So when you realize the reality of that, and then, you know, I'm so grateful that I do get to have that with my kids, but always knowing that that didn't have to be.
Mm.
And if we're real truthful, unless we nurture it, it doesn't have to continue.
No, it doesn't have to continue,
But
right?
but that identity piece of mom,
Yeah. I think
sister.
I think yes, that was the thing, like, I didn't know who I was here,
Yes.
right? And here was the thing, I did end up, going back to that beach, and this was
Okay.
happened to be on a Sunday, because I
Really?
felt like I wanted to answer the question, "How did I get here?"
That is so
Because,
good.
I was able to recognize, "Oh, I've done a lot." I went back to school with 3 kids. I was a single mom with 3
The
kids
things you don't
going back to school and finished 2 degrees
that
while
is
being a single mom.
yes.
I did that. I got 2 degrees.
Wow.
How did I get here? Like,
Right.
what is
Yeah.
what is this? I know who I am.
Sure.
But when you say that out loud and you
Yeah.
start feeling in your body, you can feel like there's a dissonance there.
Yeah.
I actually don't know who I
Right,
am,
right,
and
right.
who I am depended on the environment that I was in.
Yep.
And that, fast forwarding, that led me to this space of I really I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am.
Mm,
More than that, when we think about how did I get here, I
yeah.
thought about all of the things that shaped me.
Mm.
The religion,
Yeah, I was gonna say the
right?
rearing,
The
yeah.
rearing, religion, culture, family, expectations
Mhm.
of, I'm the granddaughter of a Baptist preacher, so
See,
I was steeped in religion like
she was in there.
teabag,
Yeah.
in religion. I knew how to do church,
Yeah.
I knew how to do relationships, I knew how to do all of these different things, and even the way that I parented my children was based on what I thought to be true and what I
Yeah.
believed to be true.
Yeah.
So I think that was the thing when you speak about the thing that we believe, we have to be able to be really curious about those beliefs
Yes.
because they shape everything.
Everything
They
else.
shape what we believe, who we are, the capabilities we have.
Yeah.
And when our reality doesn't align with that belief,
Yes.
then there is this space, there is this gap. And what we often do is we sit in that gap and we assume responsibility for it's our
Yes.
fault. You know, we assume
Yes.
responsibility for the reason why my reality is not looking like my expectations because I did something wrong.
Girl, you are hitting so many things, like so many things. And yeah, I'm gonna hold myself back from going on a tangent, but it's another show. We're gonna come in here and talk about some faith experiences and things that
Okay.
we've grown up in and how that has shaped us
Yeah.
as humans, as women,
Mm,
especially.
mhm.
And because we are women of color, we'll never leave that out. Even as a woman of color, as that connects to a woman of faith, to
Yeah.
all the things. And yes, because I could
Yeah.
riff on
Yeah.
that for a while. It was that crucial time in life. Around 13 years old is when I came to my faith for real,
Mhm.
where I understood it in a more holistic way for
Mhm.
myself.
Mhm.
Is okay.
See, that's key.
I'm realizing that a lot of my faith journey, my
Mhm.
spiritual formation
Mhm.
happened in environments that were steeped in
Mm,
propaganda,
mm,
um, supremacy,
mhm.
both white and black
Patriarchy,
male. But that's what I'm saying, patriarchy.
misogyny,
Yeah. And
racism,
so
all the things.
all of it. And when you have that awakening like you had, those things were already happening to you, but the awakening, the pivot point was at that beach.
Yeah, and I honestly, yes, I look back and I say, yes, the pivot point with that was at that beach, but honestly, the pivot point was earlier than that.
Yeah.
It was much earlier than
So
that, but you
that
didn't I just didn't
exactly.
realize it, you know?
Yes.
It was the urging to, I believe wholeheartedly and I believe in my soul and in the bone marrow of my body that the universe conspires to give us what we want and what we need and to make sure that we are positioned in a space to follow whatever path, we do have choice.
Yeah.
But I think there's some things that kind of come together that make sure things happen.
Okay.
Um, I thought I was coming to Washington because one, I got married.
Sure.
Two, I want to bring my boys and show them a different way of life.
Mm.
But I didn't realize that that Seattle was going to be the place of my breaking. I didn't realize that Seattle was gonna be the place of my breaking and then the place of my
Wow.
rebirth, right?
Wow.
That
Yes.
was the awakening. It wasn't just me standing there. It was me standing there was the point of I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I'm burned out, I'm done with life. That was the point,
Yeah.
but the breaking was happening well before, and that was the point that made me sit down and stop chasing after
Wow.
stuff. That was
So
the
good.
chasing after identity.
Mhm.
That was the point that made me sit down and actually be curious about what's happening inside of my body.
Yeah.
Why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
And why am I struggling so hard?
Mm.
Um, that was that was that was hard. That was a really hard spot to sit in because mm, here's a truth rising.
Okay.
Because that was the moment that I came face to face with myself. I had to look at myself.
Yeah.
I had to look at what was I doing to perpetuate all of these things, to
Sure.
perpetuate these cycles,
Yeah.
in my life. When you come face to face with yourself, a lot of times what we want to do is run away and blame somebody else. Well, I didn't have
100%.
anybody else to blame, girl. It was me. I'm sitting out here like, girl, am I the drama? I'm the
Right.
drama. It is me.
Common denominator over here.
It
Yeah.
is me. What am I doing? And the thing that I realized I was doing in being the drama, what I was doing was that I was holding a lot of expectations of what I thought. our move should look like
Oh, yeah.
and what I wanted this experience to be, and just holding expectations of other people
Sure.
and the environment that we were
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
and
You
all
wanted the
the
kids
things.
to realize that this is
Girl,
the groundbreaking move of
these
their
kids was
lives, and
supposed to
they've
be like they supposed to be rising up what the Bible say. These kids supposed to be rising up and calling me blessed. They was
Right.
running away. They was not doing what the Bible said they was supposed to be doing. They
This one
were
running back, this one
this
just making up
one
his mind
this
what
one
he
had
wanna do.
gone
Yeah.
wayward, that one ran away. And I
Mhm.
just, I feel like they were doing it wrong.
What's the problem?
I don't understand. Everything will be fine if everybody would just do what I want them to
What
do.
you're supposed to do.
Girl, if that is not crazy to
And your
me,
husband's gonna be the best
he's gonna be the
stepdad that's
best
ever.
ever.
He's just gonna be intuitive and
Oh
know
my gosh.
everything.
Why would he not?
He's going to know me and everything that I need and moving across the country.
Girl. And that wasn't it. Why did Washington not look like Arkansas? Where in the world?
Because that was all supposed to come with you, and you were just
Everything.
adding
I
this
didn't
cherry on the top.
I didn't
Yeah.
just bring me to Washington. I
Yeah.
brought all of my expectations
Yes.
of what
Oh, that's so good.
this is supposed to be. I just brought all of my expectations.
Yes.
And when my expectations did not align with reality, when they did not
Yeah.
reflect reality, I had a meltdown.
Yeah.
And I think that that is what happens in our identity. We get to this space where we are holding so tightly
Mhm.
to who we think we are that we
Ooh.
don't allow ourselves to collaborate with reality and evolve into
Yeah.
who we could be.
That part.
Right? Because
Yes.
there was a part of me that was like, no, I'm this girl.
Right.
I'm a mom.
Yes.
And this is the way mommying is supposed to look. You're supposed to live with your mom.
Exactly.
You're supposed to do what your
I know,
mom
what you mean?
says. What you mean going away? What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
As you said, I'm this wife. And also, there was a part of me at some point, a part of me thinking, as I'm questioning why do I believe what I believe, you can't not see the misogyny laced in
In all of
in
it.
this in the in
Yeah.
the religion, in the Christian religion. And I want to separate the idea of religion and spirituality because I believe there is a difference,
Mm.
but there is a doctrine in the religion of Christianity. And I think of any religion. Let me not even
Mm.
just put this on Christianity,
Sure.
right? But we we have to be able to recognize the fact that there's a misogynistic quality about it. There is a patriarchal uh, air to it.
Yeah.
Whereas women are not raised to be leaders
Right.
in the church. I was raised, to believe that to be like God is to basically be male. Girls were, I was the 13, 14, 15-year-old who's the ladies in the church were, come put a cloth over your leg because when you sit
Girl.
down, your knees are showing and you don't want to be a stumbling block to the pastors. So at
Y'all
what
can't see I'm rolling my eyes
Girl.
so hard right now, but anyway,
Because it's always the responsibility of a 13-year-old,
It's so
you
silly.
know?
I mean, so silly.
Right. And so we have to underline, like coming to that space of thinking, wait, what?
Yeah.
A lot of what I believed about myself
Yeah.
came from these very oppressive messages. And so there was a moment in time where I was like, I don't have nothing else to do with nobody's nothing, no church, no nothing. No, I ain't going to nobody else's church,
Right.
period.
Right. Yeah.
I'm done because that was a big part of who I was.
Sure.
And then again, like I said later, it was like, oh, I do get to have this relationship with God in
Yeah.
a very unique and special way. And I think also that was the reason why when I said the universe conspires, I think God and whatever you want to call that for yourself, source, God, the divine, whatever that is for you, needed me to be here away from the container that held me. I needed to be here so that I could explore spirituality differently and for
Yeah.
myself.
Well, and that all of who you were settled in, you had learned to be settled in
Yeah.
in Pine Bluff,
Yeah.
is what you believed your fullness of identity was
Yeah.
before you came here.
I thought I
So
was a
these
grown. I thought I was grown and I wasn't.
so this whole understanding of so much circumstances and environments
Yeah.
will allow and give us an opportunity to see other facets of who we are,
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
pieces. I don't know what the exact answer is for everyone, but what I really hope for you guys is that from this, what you hear us talking about, you walk away feeling like, I don't ever want to be settled in. This is just it. This is all I'll ever be. This is all I'll ever
Mm-mm.
see. And I'm saying that even if you're sitting in a place that you're very thrilled for,
Mm.
because we are dynamic human beings, we're creatures, however you want to say it or
Yeah.
whatever, we're constantly exposed and are exposing, which then allows us to either change, remain the same, but even remaining the same takes action. You have to be doing something. It took
Mhm.
a lot for us to say those kind of women or girls. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it was just a set it and forget it kind of thing. We had to
Mhm.
keep putting this back there, put that right there, put
You
this.
had to
This
perform your role. You had to make sure that you were adhering to the expectations set upon you,
yeah,
right? And the expectations were there. People, maybe they weren't overtly, saying it,
sure.
but you would get the side eye in the church when you was doing wrong and you know what to say or
Hmm.
self correct or course correct and or somebody would shame you
Sure.
and you would course correct and so yeah, you were shaped into being and again, I say we're talking right now about the church, but I don't mean just the
No,
church
I
itself.
know.
I
Yeah.
mean our cultural
Yeah.
expectations, our societal expectations,
Sure.
and things that are woven into the fabric of not just this country, but into the world,
Into the world.
into in the
And
world.
each of those layers has their
Right.
own set of demands or,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Absolutely.
And they all play a
Yeah.
part
Yeah. Right.
into
But I
us,
think
who we are sitting in.
that's exactly right because it doesn't matter. We could be born somewhere else and we
Yeah.
would still be conditioned into an
Of
identity.
some sort.
And so
Yeah.
the idea of being able to sit with and say, "Oh, this is who I needed to be in order to survive
Girl.
that." A lot of our identity are
It is.
survival,
Yes.
survival
I didn't know that
identities.
until way later, but yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And now that I no longer just wanna survive, like, this isn't enough.
Right.
I have to do more than just
Yeah.
survive. And that
Yes.
was where I came to eventually in Washington. It's like, I don't wanna just survive here. I
Wow.
wanna thrive. I wanna appreciate the
Yes.
beauty of this place. I wanna experience who can I be? Who am I now that I'm shedding some of the idea that I have to be this person?
Right.
'Cause this person is causing me anxiety. This person trying to maintain, like you said,
Yeah.
staying the same is work.
It's work.
It really is work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because you have to hold your tongue.
Yes.
You can't say the
Yes.
things that you wanna say because part of you being exactly who you are, it supports other people being exactly who they
Who
are.
they are.
Yeah, and they depend on you. This
Yeah.
is something I tell my clients a lot, so listen close to this one because when we start trying to change, when we start trying to explore the different parts of ourselves, when we
Mhm.
start trying to evolve, we are disrupting a system. We are
Yeah.
disrupting the systems in the relationships that we have,
Yes.
right? Because some people, like I said, they depend on you being exactly who you are because there's something about you that
Mhm.
allows them to be exactly who they are. So
It's
when you
true.
start changing, don't be surprised when you get cousins
All
and
that pushback.
aunties and pushback. Why you all of a sudden got something to say?
Right.
Why you
Right.
backsliding? Why you turn your back on me? Why you didn't answer the phone? Why you this or
Wow.
why you
Yep.
that? It's like
Mhm. It's
because
true.
I'm finally leaning into something that feels good inside of my body.
For real though.
This
Yeah.
this feels really easy. This feels I don't understand. Why do I have to go through? Why do I have to feel chaotic in order for that to be right? Because that's what it felt like,
That's
you
yes.
know?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I felt like chaos inside of my body.
Yeah. Yeah. All the time.
all the time.
Yeah,
Especially when you come out of that container that supports that chaos,
100%.
you know?
Everybody get back to their places.
Imagine,
I cannot breathe right now. Like,
you
it's like
know? So yeah, I think that's the thing, being very mindful of who we are,
yeah,
being curious about what's shaping your thoughts, what's shaping your ideas, what's shaping your beliefs, what's even shaping your behaviors. You
100%.
know,
Yeah.
I think your earlier question was about how did I get into this self-leadership thing? That's it. You know, leadership starts with you, with inside. You can't lead somebody without fully understanding how to lead yourself. So
Yeah. I mean, not well
yeah.
anyway.
I mean, you
That's
can.
I'll just yes.
Girl, listen,
I
there's
was
evidence.
I was like, y'all got some bosses out there doing that right
Right?
now. But
Girl, president.
100% that. Exactly. It is so fascinating to me. And you could just see the puzzle pieces of it all. And
Mm,
then understanding that it's a moving thing. And it's like, when do we come to the place that we're okay with the fact that this is a moving puzzle and piece myself,
mm,
like that I'm going to step into this moment and these pieces
mhm,
are no longer valid because that's not even the scene that I'm putting together anymore.
mhm, 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 mhm.
The scene looks a little different and I'm okay with that. And
Yeah.
this is what I want to put together
Or
now.
maybe you don't even know what the
You,
scene is.
y-
Maybe you
y-
don't know what you're trying to
yes,
create. You just know that right now, in this moment, the thing that aligns with me the most is taking this step.
yes.
I'm going to take this step and then I'm going to see what
See what
unfolds.
happens.
Let's see what happens from this step. And I think that's it. This is all a practice of
That's
presence.
something
Mm,
right there because
yeah.
I think, I can't speak that this is for everyone, but there's a
Mm,
certain personality type, I think, or a certain type that knowing what happens after that next step, that your steps there's a knowing already that these steps are specifically to this end. There's a comfort in that,
mm,
that is still a tie to an identity piece as
mhm,
well. So I think that that is just awesome
mhm.
to think of that idea of being comfortable with just taking that step
With the unknown.
without knowing
Yeah.
what's happening on the other side.
Yeah.
Now, you
Mm,
practice or you work with people, the focus is on after achievement,
mm. Yes.
okay? Sometimes it's an unsettling space. How would you describe that moment to someone who has never experienced it but is curious about it, like what it even means to reach that spot?
That space after achievement?
Mhm.
Oh, they know. Because listen, let me tell you what it looks like. This is
Okay.
this is what it looks like. 100% of the time, I get a phone call or an email from a potential client that says, "I'm stuck."
Okay.
Period. That's it. That's it. That's what it is. I'm stuck
And is it
somewhere
typically
in
after achievement?
it's typically after achievement.
Okay.
I'm stuck. When you get into the story, the clients that come to me, when they finally get into the story of what's happening in their lives,
Okay.
they can say to you, I've climbed this ladder.
Okay.
I've achieved these things. I'm the director of such and such. I own this.
Right.
I've done that. I'm this. And now I'm stuck. I don't know what's next. I feel so unfulfilled.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed, or I'm doing all of these things at work and I'm having to do this at home. And I have all of these kids, or my kids have left my home. I'm an empty nester now.
Sure.
It's always the crux of it's, I say always, let me take that back because it's
Okay.
not always,
Okay.
but it's most likely at that point of a life transition.
Makes sense.
Right? It's a life transition that is making you sit down. It's your moment on the beach where you're face to face with yourself and the waves are crashing in and
Okay.
they're saying, "Who am I? Because this doesn't seem to fit. I know I built this life.
Yes.
I know this is what I wanted,
Mhm.
but now I feel just so numb to myself. I don't feel like I'm inside of my
That's
body. I feel like I'm just going through the motions or I'm just living for other people
mm,
and I don't know who I am. I feel
wow.
stuck.
Wow, that's so
So
good.
so at that moment is where we really start digging into tell me about your childhood. Let's talk about some of these underlying these internal narratives that you're holding. that have become the driving force for a lot of your decisions, a lot
That's
of the
so
things that
good.
you're doing. What stories are you holding on to right now that no longer fit this person that you might be envisioning?
Yep.
And here's the thing, Angie, I've had clients that have come to me and says, "Erica, this is a quote from a client. I've been living for other people for so long that I don't even know what I look like in my own dreams."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a whole thing.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, let's talk about that because what once served you,
Yeah.
and I know this is, it's kind of a cliche thing to say, release the things that no longer serve you.
But
But let's break down what that actually means. It's no longer supporting
yeah.
your mental health. It's no longer supporting your physical health. If
Right.
you're holding on to the belief and the identity that I'm a good mom,
Right.
but my kids have gone away, but you can't accept the fact that, oh, well, things change
Yes.
and circumstances have,
Mhm.
and if I'm owning the responsibility of, if I can't release that, and I'm gonna hold tight to it, and I'm gonna be mad until everybody comes back and
Get
proves
in
to me,
place.
get in place, then what are you doing to your
Yeah.
physical body? What are you doing to your
Oh
mental
gosh,
health?
girl. Yeah.
So if you can't release that story, you can't step into what the other possibilities. If you're just tightly holding on to this thing, sometimes I tell my clients to create a fist and just dig it in the whole time,
Yes.
digging in, and they start feeling the tension
Tension.
in their
Yes.
hands, and
Yes.
it's like, okay, now you feel some relief when you open it up. When you're holding super tightly
That's
to an
that work.
expectation of
Mhm.
belief, the expectation of identity, the
Mhm.
expectation of what you thought of what brought you here, when you're holding super tightly to that, then you have no room to collaborate with what's next.
Not at all.
There's nothing. You can't move forward. You can, but
Mm-mm.
you like Erica
Mm-mm.
Badu talking about some bag lady. You
Right.
dragging all them bags with you, and you're not gonna really enjoy
It's
this
so
next part of life.
true, and I think what I was thinking about when you were saying that was how that holding on to things like
Mm,
that, even in our periods of achieving or getting to the point where we're working through
yeah,
all that, we're still doing that. It's
yeah,
just we're doing it on several fronts probably to make
yeah.
that thing come true. But but because we don't even release in those moments any, it's so jarring for us then when we finally get here.
Well, and that's because no one's ever given us permission to
Yeah.
say, it's okay if you evolve away from some relationships. It's
Yes.
okay if you evolve away from some ideas or beliefs, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. Remember when Serena Williams, when she
Mm,
retired, I think that was a phrase that she also used. It was like, no, she wasn't quitting tennis. She was just evolving away
yes.
from it. She was
Yeah.
evolving, and that was no longer a part of her life. And she honored it for
Yes.
what it was. And
That's
that is
so good.
something that
Yeah.
we have to do. This is
Yeah.
not, people think shedding is like, we often do this when we get upset and we're frustrated, because I know you've done it because I have, okay?
Okay, okay.
I ain't talking to nobody. Forget it. I ain't doing nothing else for nobody. They don't appreciate me.
I'm
I ain't doing
done.
nothing
Yeah.
else. We do
Yeah.
it out of this frustration
Sure.
versus doing it out of, oh, this season in my life has come to an end. Let me honor this season for what it was. Let
Yeah.
me honor the lessons that my mother and my father, my grandparents,
Yeah.
and my church taught me. Let me honor all of these foundational
Yes.
narratives because they were there to protect me. They were there to hold me safe. They were
Yep.
there to guide me. And now I'm here. So I wanna honor them and
Yeah.
take them with me with a place of honor, but I'm not holding super tightly to them, but I'm allowing myself to collaborate with, and I love this idea of collaboration with the world,
Yeah.
collaboration with the universe,
Yeah.
because had you and I not met, had I not said
I
yes to one thing,
know.
you and I wouldn't be
Yes.
in collaboration,
Same. Yes.
So
Exactly that. In
yeah.
your sheds, I love the she sheds and I love that concept and
Mm.
um how you walk people through that and the pause, my dynamic pause. Why is it dynamic? This is why.
'Cause it's
It's what
moving.
comes up
Mhm,
when you allow that
mhm,
whole permission thing,
mhm,
like what I talk about like that
mhm,
in my practice and
mhm,
stuff. You give yourself that permission to pause, even though it might feel uncomfortable. And my personal journey is very similar. We'll have to exchange stories one day.
mhm,
But I was brought to it by circumstances and things like that.
mm,
But I thought to myself, people need to understand they don't have to wait till, this catastrophic perfect storm of situations happens to get to go there.
Ooh, wee.
You know what I mean?
Friend, you just said something so profound. I think we need to like, can we pause on
Yes,
that for a minute?
yes.
Because I don't know that the waiting is a conscious thing. This is something that I'm realizing. I don't think that we always wait for a catastrophic event to happen before we pause.
Yeah.
I think what happens is that we tell ourselves, "Oh, I should be able to do this. I can pick up something else. I can say yes to that.
Yeah.
I can do." We're so busy saying yes and trying to
Girl.
prove our identity and trying to prove
Yes.
ourselves
Oh
and
my
saying
goodness.
these things that there is a point where the capacity of our nervous system is like,
I'm not doing it.
girl, I ain't doing jack else. You are doing
You're
the
tripping.
most. I'm about to shut this whole thing called your body down. I'm about to shut it
Girl.
down. And
Yes.
that's the point where we're like, "Oh, maybe I've been doing too much." Oh, well,
We laugh because we've been
maybe.
there. Yeah.
I'm telling, listen, because what, I'm the drama?
multiple times. It's like I tell that story sometimes. I have a similar story like that about but when I was first introduced to going to a naturopath and everything.
Yeah.
And, it's just the first meeting and we're talking. He's like, "Oh, tell me what's going on in your life." Da, da, da. I started talking. He literally was just
Yes.
he said, yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell you what I don't need is a blood test to tell me that your cortisol shot, your
Oh,
adrenals
yeah.
are gone.
Yeah.
We're going to reset those.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sitting there clueless.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Okay, what? What does that mean?
This is so true, especially for Black women, because it's literally like we're raised in a culture for us to believe that we are supposed to be strong.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be invincible. And by definition, the word is invincible. It means, that we can't be touched, like we're indestructible. What in the world?
What is the problem
What is the problem
here?
here?
Like,
Yeah. And so it's so crazy because that is such a similar experience when I get clients and they
Yeah.
tell me all the things that's going on in their life. Because they first start off with, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong.
I laugh because I know.
I'm
Yes.
stuck. What do you mean?
Or I don't know what's going on. I just can't
Okay.
seem to get everything.
Right. Okay, so let me reflect all this back to you. I just want a name. And then they're like, well, when you say it like that.
Right.
You know?
It's the fooling of ourselves. I tell, so my clients, it's like, I know you think that you're good. I said, you truly believe that.
Yeah.
It's because you are good at
Because you've been
a
conditioned
lot
to
of things.
hold all
Yes,
these
your
things.
capacity. You mentioned capacity earlier.
Yeah.
We all have a capacity and a breaking point. They may look different
Mhm.
for each one of us, but we still have that. I think we need to remind ourselves that there's a such
Yeah.
thing called capacity, and it's not a flex to be able to work past. I know I might have more of a capacity than somebody else, but I need to realize that there's a hidden cost often, and then there's a visible cost that we're moving so fast that we don't even see what we just paid for that.
Right. Absolutely. What are you paying? And even if we just like encapsulate this word capacity, just think about that. Like, I think in seasons a
Yeah.
lot of time, and being that we're in the Pacific Northwest, we're in a
Yes,
season
we are.
right now where
It's cold outside.
where the days are a lot shorter.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's fair for us also to name that sometimes your capacity differs in seasons.
Yeah.
We go through seasons
Give
of
ourselves
like,
that
give your time.
chance.
Right. And that, again, it goes back to slowing down and paying attention to what your body is saying to you. You may have had the capacity to do certain things in the summertime
Yeah.
or in last season of your life, but your capacity has changed, especially when I really start working with women and they start choosing themselves, choosing wellness, choosing care over honoring themselves, over honoring what everybody else needs,
That's so good.
And that doesn't mean they're abandoning their family or abandoning their jobs. It just means that now they're reprioritizing and they're realizing, well, you know what? I've assumed responsibility for a lot of stuff that wasn't my responsibility. Let me just put a red bow on that and gift that back to whoever that belongs to.
100%. Because once we take that, once we assume it,
Yeah.
depending on where we're at, when we assume it, at first we might realize it was somebody else's, but then we make it ours.
Oh, and that's because we're like, let me just do it myself.
Yeah, we make it ours.
Yeah.
And then when it's time to give it back, we have conditioned the other people to believe it was ours too.
That part. Yeah, that part. That part.
It
But
was never
what can be conditioned can be
can be
unconditioned. What
unconditioned.
can be learned can be unlearned. Yes, be able to do that. And I
Willing.
think that that's where your capacity to change, because once you start choosing yourself
Yeah.
and you realize, oh, I feel good in my body, my capacity to care for myself has increased, you will be hard pressed to give that away again.
It's true.
I'm
Oh my
telling you.
gosh. And if it's girl, if it starts slipping just a little bit, I'm like doing stuff I never did before. I was like, what is this feature on my phone I never knew existed? D&D. I never,
Right. Yes,
never.
girl.
And now I'm like, Angie, that's so silly. You need to use that for specific certain times.
Girl, I just turn the phone off
Go-
these days, just power down, because let me tell you, it's funny, this is reminding me of
Oh my gosh.
this you said this feature that I never knew existed.
I didn't know it existed.
That is a whole white paper right there, because when I tell you the pandemic taught me
Okay.
that I was an introvert, I did not know that. When I tell
You thrive.
this feature called solitude that I didn't know existed,
That is so good.
I did not know that. I'm
so
just out
good.
here in these streets, girl, kikiing and caca with all these people, and
all
I
the
don't
people.
have to be. You mean I don't have to be? I don't have to say yes to every invitation?
Everything.
Girl, when I tell you the pandemic gave me a good old nervous system reset.
Yeah.
And solitude is now my best friend, and we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
We hang out a lot.
Definitely not as much as I need to, but I learned this similar lesson. Like, I literally recharge in solitude.
Absolutely.
That was not the case before. Like, I know there's some people that they recharge amongst people. I love people. I get down.
Yes.
You know I love y'all. At the same time, I recharge in my
absolutely.
solitude. Like,
Yes.
literally heal right on back up.
Yeah.
And
that is what I discovered.
Sat with myself and was like, this feels great. We need more of this.
And I promise you, like I said, when you realize that you can control your capacity, and I say capacity because, and I want to make sure I'm clear, for the audience, meaning your, let's imagine this. This cup. This is my capacity.
Sure.
This is the container of which I have to care, to give of myself. And if I'm always giving from this is it, and holding, if I'm always taking things in or giving things out, at some point, I can't hold, what is this, 8 ounces?
Probably
This is about 8 ounces,
Yeah.
If I hold any more than 8 ounces, it's gonna spill all over. It's
everywhere.
spilling all over. And then we got some hot tea and whatever else that we mocha all over the place, And so, when I think about that, it's you also can't pour out more than you have.
Yeah.
And so there's someone a while ago asked me, well, how do you restore yourself? You're an introverted, empathic kind of person. How are you always seeing clients? It's like, because I make sure that I'm never pouring out from a place of empty. I've learned now to protect my capacity. You might get 2 ounces of my 8 ounces.
Yeah, and you talked to me about, you shared with me about that, and some of that, you speak to it in how you schedule. How you set your schedule up as well.
Absolutely.
So you're already preemptively
absolutely
taking that into consideration.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Right. And you spoke about menopause earlier. Well, I'm in this perimenopausal phase. If you know. I give a shout out to Just Being Melanie, because I am a proud member of the We Do Not Care.
We Do Not Care. Okay.
Club Therapist Edition. It is happening.
Yes, I love
because
it.
I have had to set my hours, my capacity changed based on my season of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've set my hours to be from 10 to 2 because I know before 10, you call me if you want to.
Yeah. Yes.
Girl, and
that is awesome.
And after 3, girl, I don't know who she is sometimes. So you can dare to try to schedule something.
Right.
But I don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know.
This is real. Okay. Let me see. Here we go. So you believe that when a woman intentionally rewrites her narrative, she reshapes the rooms she influences and communities she's connected to,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
Can you walk us through what that ripple effect looks like in real life?
Yeah, a lot of times I tell people, one, you don't exist in a silo.
Yeah.
Yes, you are a one individual, and you and I talked earlier about being part of a
Yeah.
collective. And as this one individual, you are a part of many collectives.
Exactly.
There is the family connect collective that you may
Yes.
live with, your
Yep.
work people,
Yep.
your parent. You have all these different pieces of who you are, and all of these different pieces are connected to different systems. So think about when you when you change one piece of the system, you're going to feel a ripple effect
Yeah.
in other areas. It's like, if you put a pencil in a cogwheel, you put it there and all these other gears are gonna stop churning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same kind of situation. You can't as long as you're operating by the same narrative that you've always operated on,
Mhm.
the system that you're a part of, everything, the status quo
Yeah.
remains the status
That's it.
quo.
Yeah.
But as soon as you become aware of, wait a minute, this system or this narrative is no longer serving me. I'm holding myself hostage to something I no longer believe in.
Wow.
And you start making steps to change. And they don't have to be big steps. They don't have to be extreme
Sure.
steps. But if you just make one tiny step to change, you're going to impact the system. And I
Yeah.
think on a much larger scale, if you are a leader and you start learning how to really examine, bring awareness to your identity,
Yeah.
how you behave, your thoughts, all of that is encompassing of your
So good.
identity.
Yep.
When you start bringing awareness to that, you start bringing awareness to the impact that you have on the people that you're leading. And
Yes.
you're not and again, I'm not out here trying to tell people, "Go out here and hit these streets and we're picketing,"
Right.
we're not changing culture like that.
Yeah.
We're changing culture by changing the culture within ourselves,
Exactly.
changing how we are operating. You're no longer operating from a place of status quo or from a place of a conditioned responses. You're being
Exactly.
intentional about the way that you show up.
Yep.
You're being intentional about the words that you speak. You're being intentional about, you know, um what you wear,
Yeah.
how you address people,
So
the
good.
space that you hold, the people that you're around,
Yep.
then you
Yeah.
eventually will start to shape other people who are connected to you.
It's so
And
true.
we don't really know
'Cause they have
what they're
their
connected to, right? So
thing.
you
Yeah.
start changing culture. I sometimes give the analogy of throwing a pebble in the stone
Yeah.
in the pond or
Yep.
throwing a rock in a pond. We are looking at this, we throw a rock in the pond and we see these
Mhm.
ripples. What's happening on a physics level is I call them dancing water molecules.
Oh, cute.
So there's these you throw the stone in the water and it impacts a water molecule.
Mhm.
It shivers, and then that water molecule impacts the other water molecule,
Gotcha. Okay.
and all
Yeah.
the water molecules that it's connected to, they also move, and so what we're seeing are these ripples in the water,
Yeah.
and that's what happens,
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
So good. So for the leader who's never intentionally paused, intentionally got
Mhm.
there yet, and
It's so
who
hard.
finds the concept interesting but personally uncomfortable, what would you say to them about why the resistance itself might be the most important data point they have?
Oh yeah, because resistance, I think, is that's that place where you really can't there's only so much you can resist before you break. You
Oh,
know what I
that's so
mean?
good.
There's only when you
Yeah.
think about a rubber band or
Yes, that's
something,
what I was thinking about, a rubber
there's
band.
only so
Yeah.
much resistance that you
Yeah.
can have before you break.
Mm.
And so this is a good data point because it forces you to either let go, slow down. It's forcing you to look around and really, it's forcing you into a pause, really,
Yeah.
because you can't go much further. But
Yeah.
that's an opportunity. And I
Yeah.
think anytime you feel resistance is an opportunity for you to look around and see, okay, where am I misaligned here?
That's good.
Where am I misaligned? There's a misalignment in what I expect to be happening and what the reality is. If you're pulling, you're in a fight, you're in a power struggle with something.
Yeah.
Okay, do I really want this to be a power struggle? For me, I don't know about y'all, but for me, listen, ease and peace are 2 of my top values. If I am resisting, that is not peaceful. So now I'm looking around and I'm wondering, what is it about this environment? What is it about this resistance that's creating this disease,
Mm.
right? And this unrest. Because the way I like peace and the way I like rest, am I doing something? Am I being the drama again? Am
Yeah.
I holding too tightly to something that I want to happen and
Yeah.
I'm waiting for everybody else to fall in line? Am I holding tightly to that?
That was a
You
reality.
know what I
That was a
mean? Or
reality.
is it am I misaligned with this environment? Is
Yeah.
this no longer the workplace that I need to be
I'm glad you
in?
said that
You know?
because sometimes the dis-ease or the lack of rest
Yeah.
is evidence because you have to move.
You have
And
to move.
in the moving, sometimes situations will move you out. We don't want that for y'all. We want you to get to do the moving. If you're doing the moving, it will feel like
Yeah.
unrest, but you're walking toward that peace. What's inside of you already, you feel the peace because you
Mm.
know you're going in the right direction, but
Yeah.
you're experiencing
Yeah. Yeah.
something that's
Yeah.
still
Well,
uncomfortable
it
sometimes.
and I even think too, like on a neurological level, we have to consider the fact that our brains are designed to keep us safe, right? They're
Yeah.
designed to and our brains are kind of lazy, I'll be honest with you. It doesn't
You're like,
want to do our brains don't want to do more work than it has to do. It's
sure,
it's they're designed to preserve or conserve energy.
got it.
So doing something new takes a lot of energy. It
Okay.
doesn't take a lot of energy to stay in the same old thing. It doesn't take a whole lot of energy to keep doing or to uphold the status quo. And so
A
if you're
muscle memory
that
kicks in for
muscle
that.
memory kicks in. So if you're feeling the resistance, it's most likely this space of cognitively and spiritually and maybe even emotionally, something ain't right over here. I should go over there.
Right.
But then there's a disconnect because your brain or your nervous system is saying, "Yeah, but this road over here is already paved. We should
Exactly.
stay here because there's salary, there's benefits, there's we don't have to learn a new thing over here. It's not that bad." Like we convince
Oh
ourselves, it's
my
not that
gosh.
bad. So we're just gonna
Yes.
stay. Right? Because over here, if we walk over here, we gotta learn a new thing. There's a period of moment we don't know if we're gonna get a new job. We don't know what this new entrepreneurial thing is gonna look like. Is
It's
it really
true.
gonna pay off? There's too
Yeah.
many questions that are unanswered.
Yeah.
And so our bodies are telling us to stay where it's comfortable, stay in
Yeah.
the status quo. But this is where, again, your dynamic pause. I love this, the name of your podcast too, because it's mimicking life.
Yeah.
Dynamic means movement,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so you're always moving and pausing,
Yes.
moving and
Yes.
pausing.
Because I wanted people to understand,
Right.
like, just because I'm suggesting that this is what you need to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
that I understand this is so that you can move.
Right.
Move in that way that you feel you might
Mhm.
not even see it yet because you've been going so long and doing how you do, status quoing it for so long.
Mhm.
And when you get that muscle memory, you tell yourself you're good at it. And so it's dynamic because it brings you the movement that you
Mhm.
didn't know you even
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah. And I think it's important too for us to get to a space where we understand where our greatest power lies.
Yes.
And that greatest power sometimes is in the pause. Sometimes
Yes.
it's because the pause is in that moment, right? There
Yes.
again, I said earlier that this is all a practice of presence.
Yes.
And it's in that presence that you are able to access how do I want to respond in this moment?
The clarity.
The clarity. And
Yes.
even if you're not clear
Yes.
about the
It
entire
kinda
thing,
no, it's just something comes.
what's happening for me right now? What feels clear? What feels aligned? What feels value aligned for me right now? What is the value? Let's name that. What do I need in this moment right now?
Yes. Yes.
Uh, and do I trust myself enough to make that step?
That's so good.
You know? And I
Yes.
think that's that moment of real power. It's
Mhm.
only there's not very many things in this world that we control
Oh,
over.
yes.
It's just, the biggest thing and really the only thing you have control over is how you respond to a
How
situation and
you
how
re
you respond in a situation. And so I think it's really powerful when we can again intentionally rewrite the narratives
yeah.
that are that are shaping our
So
thoughts, shaping
good.
our ideas, shaping
Yes.
our behaviors, our actions, shaping the rooms that we're in, shaping, we're
Yeah.
shaping just us because
Yeah.
in doing that, we're causing the ripple effect,
Yep.
Now, I will tell you, again, everybody ain't gonna flow the way you want them to
Oh,
flow. That's the
yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
everybody's just because you decide I'm going to operate in this manner, you're often going up against, and this is true again for Black women, for leaders, for women who know their voices, know their minds, or learning their minds. We can run down the list of all the women who have been shot, killed,
Yes.
maimed,
Yes.
burned, acid in our country and
All
other
kinds of
countries,
yes.
right? Pushed out of their jobs because they dared
Yeah.
to align themselves with what was valuable for them,
Yeah.
the value aligned intentional actions of themselves,
Yes.
because they dared to go against the status quo.
Oh,
We're living right now in a time where so many Black women are facing unemployment
yes.
because of those reasons. We just had, not just had, but I forget her name, forgive me, please forgive me. Call out to her spirit. But she was an executive, that it was denied the mental health, the leave of absence that she
Oh,
needed, and, she died. She ended up
yeah.
killing herself.
That's so horrible.
It's really and that's the thing. So there is a cost to using your voice. There is a cost
Yeah.
to operating with intentionality aligned with your values.
Yeah.
There is a cost to stepping away from status quo. There's a cost to not bringing your authentic self or bringing your authentic self
Girl, I was gonna say
to
we be paying tolls both
tolls
ways.
all the way. You know what I mean?
Going and coming, staying
Right.
and going,
Yeah. So we don't, I want to make sure that I'm clear and we're not saying like the dynamic pause or shedding. We're not just, no, you're stepping into an unknown that can be dangerous just
Yes.
based on the society we live on, based on historical,
Yeah.
experience.
As we begin to wrap it up, and if you
Mm,
feel like you've answered this already, that's fine. What is one thing a leader can do in the next 24 hours? Not a
mm,
program, not a retreat, just one thing that
mhm,
begins the practice of either shedding
mm.
or pausing with intention.
One thing, so many things are coming to my
I
mind.
know. If
Yeah.
you could tell me one, but then share the list if you
Well,
want.
no, well, I will tell you, it all starts with awareness.
Okay.
That's the one thing, but
Okay.
how
How?
you practice
Okay.
awareness is different,
Okay.
and it doesn't have to be a big thing.
Okay.
I think awareness is another one of those buzzwords that's out there in society right now. It's like,
Sure.
"You gotta be aware of things, be aware of things." Really, we're just talking about mindfulness.
Yes.
I'm talking about being aware of your body language,
Okay.
talking about, um, understanding how your body is every emotional and every physical response that you have, it is your body trying to feed you information about
Wow, that's
the
huge.
environment that you're
Mhm.
in. And sometimes we've disconnected, well, I know we have. We've
Yeah, I was gonna
disconnected
say,
that, and
yes.
we don't often know what that looks like or how that feels. We don't know. We don't stop to interpret
Yeah.
why did my right shoulder just pop up when that person walked in the room? We don't stop to,
Yes.
we don't stop to question why our brows are furrowed. We don't
Yes.
stop to wonder,
Yes.
why do I feel the hesitation? Why am
Like
I feeling
how we lean
resistance?
away or,
Right. How we
whatever.
lean away. We don't stop to question that things. And so one of the things that I
Wow.
tell a lot of my clients, like, we have to bring awareness back into your body. You have to
Okay.
start embodying
Okay.
your experiences.
It's
So start
good.
by washing your hands.
Interesting.
When you wash your hands, don't just go in there and wash them and turn off the water and dry.
Sure.
Stay in the water.
Okay.
Set a timer if you want to, but stay in the water and close your eyes
Oh,
and allow yourself to feel the water flowing through your fingers. If you're
interesting.
using soap, let the soap, if you're using soap, y'all better be using
Girl, I was gonna
soap
say,
out
if y'all better
here.
be in that soap.
Y'all better
Okay.
be using soap. Y'all better be
Y'all
using
better be
soap,
using soap.
you know? But when you're using your soap, if you close your eyes, smell. Like, what does
Yes.
that smell like? We're just re-engaging the senses with
Wow.
something simple.
That is
When you're in the
amazing.
shower, sometimes you're in the shower, that's a really thoughtful place and you're always thinking.
Mhm.
Try your best to bring your thoughts back to how the water feels hitting your body. What does
That's
that feel
good.
like? What if
Yeah.
you have your loofah, close your eyes and don't be slipping and falling, but notice or pay attention to, how does this loofah feel on my arm?
Yes.
I feel it. It feels rough. Name it. What does it
Right.
feel like? It feels rough. I feel the water beating on my hands. It feels nice. It
Wow.
feels soothing.
Yeah.
What are you naming here?
I
So we're
love
talking about
it.
bringing
Okay.
awareness back to your body,
Sure.
and that's just one small step. And if we
Yeah.
practice that with experience, turn the TV off when you're eating and sit down and really eat a meal
Wow.
one bite at a time, put your fork down and sit there and chew your meal and taste your food and notice the flavors, notice the textures, swallow. Have a mindful experience, have a mindful moment with your
What?
meal. Yeah.
I'm sitting here imagining, like, my brain and what I'm feeling in my body is while she says that, I am literally tense right here in my chest at the idea of sitting in the quiet of
Uh,
sitting, taking a bite, putting my fork down. I was imagining as you
yeah.
explained it, everything, and my chest was getting tighter and tighter.
Yeah. Yeah. Because your chest what was that experience? What was your chest getting tight about? What was your
Because
body telling you?
at the end of the day, I'm a consummate my own client. Like,
Mm.
I got stuff to do.
Mhm.
Like, what
Mhm.
I don't have time for that.
Mhm.
That's what
Mhm.
my initial thought
Yeah. Yeah.
is always.
Yeah.
And then, of course I work myself back into my
Yeah.
good feeling of my body because
Yeah.
that's the new thing. That's
Yeah.
that's in recent years. This
Yeah.
is, that's going back for 5, 6 years maybe
Yeah.
of that understanding and the recognition
Right.
of that. But it's just so funny how all the rest of those years, and I call myself a recovering productivity perfectionist. That's how I've named us, y'all. When I have my backslide moments, you know what I'm saying? So, but just that
Yeah.
initial,
Yeah. It's that your body
wow,
telling you, I
that,
don't have time to slow down. I gotta get this
what you mean?
because
Put
I
the
got
fork
stuff.
down and
You
see.
know how long it's gonna take me to finish this food if I put my fork
I
down
was
between bites?
imagining that. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
"She is okay."
No,
But
yeah.
this is
And
good. This is
turning off the
so
TV,
good.
turning
Yeah,
off
yeah.
the TV,
Yeah,
turning off,
turn yeah.
don't listen to any music, or maybe you can listen to something without words. It's about reconnecting to your body. And this is a really good opportunity to take note of how you're feeling. You just noticed that your chest kind of got tight.
Yeah,
That's telling you something.
yeah,
That's an anxiety
yeah,
response for
yeah.
you,
Like,
right?
"Oh my god, can
Like,
we stop
what
that?"
do you mean slow down? Slow down? That's like a cuss word when it comes to
I
Black
know. It's
women,
like,
leaders. Y'all do not wanna be slow down.
never, but
Listen.
know that we need to. I think I
Yeah.
do believe, like, in the work that I've been able to do recently
Mhm.
that I see more people wanting or at least
Yeah.
glancing or nodding toward
Yeah.
it to at least open that ear to be hearing. So I hope
Yeah.
this is landing in that spot for you
It
ladies.
is, yeah.
And gentlemen, you guys can relate to this stuff as well. All you leaders out there who are pedal to the metal, foot to the ground, always,
Yeah.
I hope this lands for you where it has for us. I love
Mm,
it. So
mm.
what's the next chapter, Erica?
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
what narrative are you in the process of rewriting right now?
I am yeah, this is ooh, girl, you hit a spot for me. I felt my spine, like,
Okay.
stiffen, like, "What? Is she calling out some
I
vulnerability right here?"
uh-oh.
Because in writing the next chapter, I again had to face some truths about myself.
Okay.
And one of those truths about myself, oh gosh, okay, here it is. Because we're going to tell the
We're
truth,
telling the
right? We're
truth.
going to tell the
This is
truth.
who
I'm going
we
to tell
are.
it,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to tell it. One of the truths that I had to face about myself is that I I struggle with hi, I'm Erica. I struggle with hyper independence. I am struggling with hyper
Okay,
independence
okay. Yeah.
and I know where it come from.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what's next for me is really healing that
Yeah.
space and
Yeah.
what that looks like,
Yeah.
and knowing that it's showing up for me in so many different areas that I didn't recognize it was showing
Yeah.
up
Okay.
in. So I know that question was probably what's next?
No,
What
but
else
that's
am I putting
perfect.
out
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
But I feel like right now, no, I'm in a space, I'm in a very reflective space and I'm realizing that I want to build a specific thing, but I can't build that specific things because I'm approaching it from a scarcity mindset,
Ooh,
and I
yes.
can't teach the thing that I wanna teach from a scarcity.
Needs abundance.
Right, you know what I mean? It needs abundance, and I have to be able to embrace abundance in the way that looks like, but I often find myself saying, "I don't need no help, I got this, nope, 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 I can do it." So, like, okay, here I am again, this cycle continues, it just shows up in a different way.
Different
It shows up in a
way.
completely different way.
Strong people,
Mhm.
strong leaders, people who just
Yeah.
adapt well and just get after
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I hope y'all heard that because not everybody
Mhm.
realizes that not just being independent, but the hyper independence, the way that she
Mhm.
said that, it comes from a place of scarcity and we we get to wear a mask a little bit
We
in
do.
that because we're so
Yeah.
good at what we do. If you were hyper independent, but then you weren't really a great leader, or if you weren't really a good, all
Mhm.
the things, it
Yeah.
would stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But people who are high performers, highly productive people who also are hyper independent,
Yeah.
it takes us a little longer for us to get to that point where we realize that that's what that
Yeah.
is, or that's where, it's being fed,
Right, right.
you
And
know,
even longer to be able to verbalize it. You
girl,
know what I'm saying? Because
because
it's not, no, I just know how to do things. I'm just good at what I do. Right, you're good at what you do. And then here's the other thing too. I hear this a lot from my clients because I've said it for myself.
right, right, right.
We struggle to find people to show up and support us in the way that we would support them. That's true of a lot of leaders, that feeling
Yeah.
of, "Where is my support?" Because I'm showing up like this, and this for everybody else, but they're not showing up for me like that. And I think that
Right.
that also fuels that hyper independence because we get to that space of, "Well, I can just do it better by myself.
Oh
It's
my
easier if I
god.
just finish it all by myself. It's easier if I just do it by myself."
Yeah.
What we don't realize is that people are trying to support us.
Yep.
People are coming in to try to help,
Yep.
but they're not helping at the level that we have to understand that this is our growth journey. We're here.
Yes.
We're the leaders. We have to be the ones to look and say, "Okay, where is this person's strength? Let me allow that person to do this. Where is this person's strength? Where is that person's strength?" Like this is their area of expertise, and this is where they're going to thrive and where they're going to grow, and allow them the space to do that without feeling like, "Okay, fine, I'll just do it better." No, we're not we're not helping the situation here.
Well, I was choking on that because it's all up in my business. Let me go on and close this up.
Get Erica out of here. Get her out of my business.
So funny because I in the last week, I've had that conversation with at least 2 women
Mm,
who repeated that, like, almost verbatim.
mm,
I show up like this, and this, and
mm,
you don't show up for me that way,
mhm, mhm,
and wanting to equate that with how they're being cared for
mm-mm. No. Yeah,
or lack of.
yeah, yeah.
The idea that I'm not being cared for in the same way that I'm caring for other
Mhm,
people, and then me listening
mm,
while also going, "So you're saying the only way that it's true care and concern is if they mimic exactly what you do? Although you do that well, what you're saying, does that then indicate true love? Are you defining what true caring
mm,
is
mm,
by that?
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
What happens when your capacity is different?"
yeah. Well, and I think the other thing about that too is that, we have a lot of times we train people and how to treat us and how to care. If we're always stepping in and saying, "Okay, I can do it," or "I
Right.
can do it," we're training them to expect us to be able to do it all. We're
Yes.
training them to not step up and show us, or not step up and care for us or take care of the things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is where it runs. I experience this a lot around my birthday.
Mm.
I'm like, I don't want no birthday party because I have these grand ideas
Okay.
of whatever, whatever, but I don't want to have this birthday party because I don't know how to let people show up for me.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
It's really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. And then I
Yes.
think they don't really know me. They don't really know what I like. They don't really know,
Are they gonna
because
pick
I
the
have
right
pockets. Are
things?
they going to
Okay.
do the right thing? If I have to be involved in, if they have to come to me and ask me
Then it's
about
not the
my
same.
birthday party, then it's not a surprise, then I have to be involved, then I have to make decisions, and if I have to make decisions, I don't wanna do it.
I tell
I just
people,
don't
so
wanna
then
do
you
it.
were dating yourself.
Yes.
I'm courting myself here
Yeah.
because I'm telling you all the things to exactly do
Yeah.
to make me happy.
It's like, no, but just and so there's the struggle of allowing people to just show up, period. I wanna make sure we put that period right there.
Right,
Just
right.
let people show up
Yeah.
in whatever capacity they have. Why are we judging it against what I would do or what they you know what I mean? What they're
She's a
not
therapist,
doing.
y'all. So I would tell her that's what you would peel back the layers for all
Uh-huh.
of us when we sit down with you and get to the nitty gritty of why that's so important for us.
Yeah.
What made that a failure or a success? What made it get that name in the first place? There's reasons behind some of this
Mhm,
stuff for
mhm. Oh, absolutely,
for some of us.
absolutely.
And
Again, we're showing grace for ourselves, showing grace for everybody else, and that's where we're examining the narrative. Is this narrative true 100% of the time?
no,
No, but it is often the narrative that we lead with.
yes.
Whenever we
And
meet new people, it's often the narrative that we lead
mhm,
with before we even have evidence.
therapy.
There it's a good spot to find those
Yes,
places, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
You're
This has
so
been
welcome.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's been a joy. Thank you for having me. I
I am so
appreciate it.
excited. Thank you for driving down. Seattle's not that far, but it can feel far
Mhm.
in these moments. So thank you for giving me
Yeah.
your space in person.
Yes, you're welcome.
Love that. I hope
Yeah.
you guys have enjoyed this time together. This has been another awesome episode of the Dynamic Pause with Coach Angie, Miss Erica. I was going to tell you where we can put up her socials and things like that, but y'all heard her hours. This is elite. Okay. But what we can point you to is her podcast, She Sheds, and it's going to be amazing. It's already amazing. Go and start listening to some of the original
Yeah, the
episodes
original episodes,
because I've been
yeah.
listening to those as
Yes.
well
Oh,
since we
good.
met. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Because
so,
we're recapping, revamping, yeah, re-recording and things like that. And so
eh,
doing this little thing, there was a pause. That was a very dynamic pause that I took from the podcast.
sure,
Life happened.
it does.
Life happened. And it's continuing to happen.
Yes.
And now we're in a space where we can really move forward with the
I'm
podcast.
so
So I'm looking forward
excited.
to it. I'm
Yes.
super excited about it. I love some of the episodes that are coming up, and so I'm really excited about the relaunch of that.
Yay. Okay. So, guys, we'll see you soon next time on the Dynamic Pods. Bye, guys.
Take a pause in the moment. Breathe deep, let the soul lift. The podcast is to grow with. The clarity is potent. Take a pause in the moment. Breathe deep, let the soul lift. The podcast is to grow with. The clarity is potent.